Sydney Web is a leading provider of online solutions. The in-house team consists of 14 programmers and designers that have developed over 260 projects to date, and some of Australia's most prominent and well-known websites. GovCast Webcasting and Webinar Solutions provides a powerful distribution system for streaming conferences and live events, and can be edited and archived for subsequent on-demand viewing.
Throughout the years, teaching has not dramatically changed in the way teachers and instructors deliver the course material. Students have had to allocate time to congregate in an instructor-led environment. This is the basis of MetrixMedia's in-depth report on e-learning and its impact on Australian enterprises. Data from multiple research reports indicate that e-learning has come a long way since the 90s, with global revenues of just $2 billion to a current estimated global revenue turnover of $23 billion. By the end of the decade, it is expected to grow to revenues of excess of $50 billion per annum. The industry is comprised of various suppliers in the form of content and technology providers. In order to provide an insightful report, last week I spoke to Intel's local chief, Philp Cronin. Intel is a global company that creates technology that enables rich applications to run. Intel, with global revenues of over $34 billion and a market cap of $152.56 billion, is a technology innovator that pioneers new markets as a way to ensure demand for computing power. Intel is the world's largest chip maker and considered a leader in manufacturing of computer, networking and communication devices. Asia Pacific alone accounts for 45% of Intel's global revenue. Intel has been innovating in education since 1968, further accelerating its involvement in 1989 till today.
A worldwide program that's been running.
Intel's sponsorship of the Intel Teach the Future program is part of the Intel Innovation in Education initiative, a sustained commitment in collaboration with educators and government leaders worldwide to help prepare students to succeed in a knowledge-based economy. We also sat down and had an enlightening and candid conversation with Saba's local chief in Asia Pacific, Richard Boggon. Saba Software Incorporated is a provider of human capital development and management solutions. Saba Software Incorporated is a provider of human capital development and management solutions, which are designed to increase organizational performance through the implementation of a management system for aligning, developing, and managing people. Now we continue with the second part of the interview with Richard. What are your experiences in terms of the European markets adopting e-learning? Retail industry.
Yeah, this is a bandwagon at Saba. We've been on for a long time, and when we first started to see companies moving into e-learning, it was about corporate induction programs and translating some of the HR stuff online. FSRA and a few of the other compliance related issues, safety critical roles that organisations have to deal with, hit, and organisations to comply with those regulations need to prove that they've trained their staff and that they're certified and qualified. It was a driver because people at the board or at the senior executive level wanted to cover themselves and manage their risk, so they were prepared to invest in e-learning for that. So the reason we became compliance-led as an industry within e-learning and within training generally is because the people that were managing compliance had the money. So if they had the money and they had the budget, that's where the e-learning content has gone. So e-learning is a nice way of solving those problems. Very quickly, people are starting to understand now that business managers have problems that need to be solved. And so if you're responsible for e-learning, you can overcome the constraints that HR budget might provide, because you can go and talk to the sales manager and say, what do we need to do? So companies in the retail space, whether it be retail banking or whether it be retail more generally, are finding that they can use e-learning as a media to deliver interactive messages to employees, to staff, to customers, to agents, to externals. They can use the program to drive out information about product and service innovation. They can reach out and start to build and enhance the loyalty of their customers. They can provide a very easy way for people to get access to information. You walk into a hardware store and you buy a DIY product that you need to take home and fix. It's very handy if when you get home you can pop a disk into your computer and you can actually see a quick short 5-minute video on your screen as to how to do that. It's much more effective than reading the instruction manual. And it's certainly a lot easier than going to a Saturday morning class on how to do whatever it is that you've bought. So there's a lot of organisations that are starting to realise the value of how can we use e-learning now to drive this product and information out to customers, to employees, to external agents, to a whole bunch of different.
Mentioning HR managers, you yourself were an HR manager before actually joining Saba and being one of the customers. What do you feel in terms of expectations HR managers tend to think of to the reality of it? Is there a major difference, and how do you manage that if there is a major difference?
Yeah, my background is certainly, I was actually a Saba customer before I joined the company, and I was with Queensland Rail, and we invested in learning technology. We're interested in solving problems, so people in HR understand the critical business issue. We have to get this resolved. We want to be able to do this. We don't want to have any hassles around the IT side of it. We don't want to have any technology hassles at all. We just want somebody to make it happen. So it's important then that when we're doing this, we give as much information, we work with the people, with vendors and with companies that can make this happen for us and understand how we can get this in quickly and easily. And there's a variety of different ways that can be done. So the gap in expectations is really usually just, this is what I want, go and make it happen for me. And it needs to be easy and hassle-free. So the technology needs to integrate well. There needs to be a process so that this thing can be implemented well and that our initiative can be delivered upon.
How competitive is your product to Australian local suppliers?
Very competitive. And again, this is a lesson that Saba has learned. If you want to do business in Australia and in Asia, it needs to have that regional focus. So we have that. So companies are looking for, in anything to do with e-learning or the technology around it, the business model needs to be flexible. They need to be able to adapt it to suit their commercial requirements around pricing and how they would like to pay for it, but it also needs to integrate exceptionally well within the existing technology environment for a company. But e-learning is a fast-paced industry, and the research and development commitment that's required to develop a tool that will not only deliver the e-learning that you're looking for, but suit your workflow and suit the business process inside the organisation. That research and development commitment is quite large, and the amount of money that I know that Saba invests in our own research programs internally is quite significant. So, companies that are looking to invest in that technology will want to know that the company they're investing in today is going to be around in a few years' time. So it's not an easy industry to get into.